morning for life. My name is Ty Hopkins. I'm an exercise scientist and professor at Brigham Young University. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about something I love, exercise. So about 400 BC, Hippocrates said, exercise is man's best medicine. And that was profound because about 2,400 years later, the American College of Sports Medicine, which happens to be the international leader in exercise science, decided that that should be its new global initiative. Exercise is medicine. Now, the American College of Sports Medicine launched this initiative because it saw exercise as having some profound effects on health and well-being. And in fact, they saw that the data that were associated with well-being and exercise and so forth were needed to be publicized more because of a global issue in physical fitness. Now, globally, about 23% of all adults 18 and over, and about 80% of adolescents don't get enough exercise or activity. In fact, some data collected in the United States in 2016 showed that 48% of adults are not meeting the physical activity guidelines for aerobic activities, and 78% of adults are not meeting the guidelines for both aerobic and resistance training activities. Now, if you're like me, like I'm doing right now, you sit at a desk a lot, and they found that most people, especially in the United States, spend at least 8 hours a day sitting at a desk. And that simply doesn't lend itself to physical activity. We're no longer farmers and gatherers. We sit at desks a lot. And if you look at the adult population, about 36% have no activity at all. And that's a big deal. 36% of our U.S. population has no exercise. So with that in mind, the American College of Sports Medicine gathered data, really good high-quality data, and showed some effects of exercise. Now in children, 3 to 6, that's limited to improve bone health and weight status. But when you move up to the 6 to 17-year-old range, you start to see some pretty profound effects of exercise, regular exercise, improved cognitive function, improved cardiorespiratory and muscle fitness, improved bone health, improved cardiovascular function, improved weight status and adiposity, and finally, fewer symptoms of depression. And those are pretty profound. And as you move on to adults, this becomes even more profound. If you look at mortality, there's a lower risk. If you look at cardiometabolic conditions like heart disease and diabetes, there's much less risk there. Cancers are lower. Everything from bladder cancer to kidney and stomach cancer. Many cancers that risk is reduced with regular exercise. Brain health, from dementia to depression to anxiety and even cognition. All of those things are improved with regular exercise. And weight status and all the benefits that come along with weight status are also improved with exercise. So adults are the beneficiaries, of course, of regular exercise. However, if you move on to the older adults, you not only get the benefits that we saw with adults, but you get some other added data that show improvement with exercise. Reduced incidence of falls and all the injuries that occur with falls, and maybe more importantly, a reduced frailty in that older population. Remember, the data are overwhelming that muscle mass is directly related to quality of life. And as we get older and quality of life suffers, the more muscle mass we have, the better our quality of life. That can't be overstated. So as we move on, we can also look at another category that they emphasize, and that is people with pre-existing medical conditions or disease or dysfunction. And cancers, osteoarthritis, hypertension, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, dementia, all of these things are positively influenced by exercise. So maybe Hippocrates really did have it right. Exercise really is medicine, and the American College of Sports Medicine is showing us that, at least from a physical perspective, exercise does some really, really great things to the body. Now, that said, there's still more to the story. If we look at our well-being, our general wellness, we have to consider more than just the physical component. We also have to consider the emotional, the environmental, the social, the occupational, the spiritual, and the intellectual components. And in reality, that physical fitness is really just a small part of what we're talking about. So does exercise really influence all of these other categories of well-being as well? And I hope to convince you it does. In fact, the rest of the story shows us that if we look at data outside just disease and dysfunction, we start to see some really compelling things that really push exercise as not just a good for you thing, but a quality of life thing. Exercise gives us about a 20% increase in energy, okay? And some people think, well, that can't be possible. Exercise makes me tired. Well, overall, you exercise in the morning, you have more energy during the day, about a 20% increase, and a 65% decrease in fatigue. So as the day goes on and the day wears on us and we tend to fatigue, well, exercise gives us a 65% reduction in fatigue. We also see an improved quality and quantity of sleep. And I don't know about you, but sleep is a big deal. We recover and we grow during sleep. And a better sleep, both in terms of quantity and quality, is a big deal. Also, how about enhanced mood? There's no better mood enhancer for me anyway than exercise. Exercise is my best therapist, I have to admit. Yesterday I had a tough day and I went on a 3-hour ride and life was good again. Order was restored. How about a decreased level of stress? Equal to mood, this is a big deal. And an improved cognition and improved focus and concentration. If you start looking at all of these things, exercise is more than just something that helps us overcome disease and dysfunction. It's something that makes us better. It makes us better in terms of our mood. It makes us better in terms of our thinking. It makes us better in all of those areas of that wellness wheel that we just talked about. Now, I want to focus a little bit on one particular study that emphasizes the point I'm making here. There was a study done in 2007 where they took 4,000 sets of twins. And from those twins, they wanted to look at specifically twin sets where one of the twins exercised and one did not. So one had a very active lifestyle, the other did not. And what they found is the twin who had the active lifestyle tended to be more satisfied with life. They had greater life satisfaction and more happiness. And these were measured with validated scales. And overall, just an overall better well-being. So regardless of the genetic makeup, the genetics were the same. Exercise led to a profound increase in happiness. And exercise, therefore, is bliss. Now, as we move on, you might be asking yourself the question, well, what do I need to do? What are the recommendations for exercise? Well, the general recommendations from the World Health Organization are 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise per week. So you're looking at 3 to 5 hours per week, totally doable. And that's not high intensity. However, if you do want to do higher intensity exercise, then that time can go down. They recommend only 75 to 150 minutes a week if you're using higher intensity exercise. Now, each of those activities should be at least 10 minutes in duration, and I would argue more, especially if it's aerobic. And you also need to start working in about 2 sessions a week of some type of resistance training. That can start off as simple as sit-ups and planks and progress to types of weightlifting and even power types of activities. So these are great recommendations from the World Health Organization, but they're pretty general. You might be asking yourself, what are some specifics? What are your recommendations? So this is what I think. I think that you should consider something that you like to do. Pick something that you like or something that you're already doing and make that the foundation of your exercise. Do it several days a week or several hours a week, whether it's playing a sport or taking a walk or riding a bike or swimming or playing golf or whatever it might be. Just pick something you like and do it. Anything that can raise your heart rate a little bit and that you can do regularly. Now, with that, you're going to need something that's going to give your body and your mind a little bit of rest. You need a recovery exercise. So pick something that's a little different or something that might be new to you. Maybe you like to hike or play a sport, and so your recovery exercise is going to be swimming or riding a bike. Or maybe it can be playing golf or something that you just like to do in your leisure. Whatever it is, pick something that's a recovery exercise that can give your body and mind a chance to take a break. Also, prioritize that time. So pick 30 minutes every day where nothing can take precedent or priority over it. Take those 30 minutes and make them sacred. And as you move along, a few months later, make that an hour. And do that 6 days a week. Take a day off, but do that about 6 days a week. And don't let anything take precedent or priority over that 30 minutes or an hour. And then finally, at the end, you need to start working in some resistance training. Now, like I said before, that can be really simple, but it needs to be there because remember, muscle mass is key to quality of life. Now, with that, if you can consider these recommendations or just something you like to do, get that 3 to 5 hours a week, then what happens? We reap the benefits. Exercise makes us happy. Exercise is bliss. Thanks for your time, For Life. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.